everybody. How's it going? We are coming to you live right now. The world famous Great Barrier Reef. We're actually anchored at Lister Island right now. Captain Kevin Bohannon, Bad Company. We got Steve Lasley on the mothership right there, and then we have Hsieh actually on the inside. We're just getting ready to start day 2. So fishing here doesn't really start on the reef till about noon or so. The big growers usually come in the afternoon. Morning time, just free time, making bait, swimming, eating, relaxing. But many of you asked about angling tricks or techniques. Just to give you a little background of myself, I've not been a chair angler. I've only been in the chair more so in the last, recently, probably 10 years. And really gotten comfortable in the last 10 years. And so everything that we're going to talk about, we're not telling the world this is the way it's done. I just want to share with everybody how I do it. I'm 163 pounds in a good day, even after a massive breakfast. So I think having the proper leverage and angles is really critical because I don't have the displacement. But before that, I think it's important for everyone out there to understand the chair is just a tool. But angling skills and understanding how to control the fish is still pretty critical. And again, we're not bragging. We would never want to do that. This fishing is just fun for us. But personally, for me, I have logged over 4,000 billfish as an angler. And probably my biggest achievement, if you will, is I hooked over 30 surface swords and have fought them over 500 pounds, and I landed 9 successfully. Surface swords, and that, of course, that's all stand-up fishing, and not in the chair. But when we're talking about the chair, for me, the bycatch for me is tunas in the chair, and I personally have not encountered 70, 80, 90 pounds of drag on the giant bluefin tuna fishery, which some of those guys are an absolute beast in how they use the chair. But I'm just going to describe the chair on how I use it. And what's important to me on both blues and blacks, and then there's lots of differences when you're heavy tackle, and what's better than talking about heavy tackle when we're anchored right in the middle of Great Barrier Reef, probably the birthplace to heavy tackle sport fishing. Hey, come here, Hsieh, say hi. Talk about heavy tackle sport fishing.
Hi.
Here's Captain Hsieh.
Whoa, can't see a lip. Hold it there. Can I have a wheel?
So, anyways, thanks, Hsieh. So, personally for me, there's lots of great manufacturers of chairs out there, and a lot of them that are very new and they look amazing. But the leverage point for me has been a decades old Rivalbit chair. Kevin, we have 5 now? We have 5 of these identical chairs. All been restored by the team, and we bought them from garage sales, Craigslist, everything that you can think of, how we sourced it. We've had good friends. We have people that are finding them and letting us know that we rebuilt and I think we beefed up.
Modified.
Yeah. So we have one here on the 60 Viking. We have one on the 57 Spencer. We have one on the 92 Jones Goodell. We have one on 33 LNH, and then we have one on the 43 Release. They're all completely identical. And the reason why this chair works for me, if you look at all the adjustments, keep in mind that a chair is really for leverage. And the biggest benefit to me as an angler is the fact that the gimbal is no longer attached to you. So that takes a lot of the pressure points away. I mean, whether you're stand-up fishing and you got rod and reel under your arm, or you have a rod belt and you got the gimbal in front of you, you constantly have that leverage point on the bottom of the rod. So when you're in a chair, the bottom of the rod, that leverage point is no longer attached to you. So what you want is that rod to be loaded up all the time. And the way that I like to do it is I like to be on top of the rod. A lot of people don't believe in that, but that's the style that works for me. I don't like the reel and the rod close to me. I like it farther away from me. So this way I can pull up with my legs and then wind down. In my opinion, there's not much pulling when you're in the chair. You can pull and then get one crank, pull and get one crank, or if the captain is chasing, you're going aggressively backwards, or you're turning and chasing, then you're just a human winch. Then you're just winding as fast as you can. And of course, you know, being in good physical condition is really important, because the chair does take a lot out of you. We generally, Kevin, take fish up to 900 in around 20 or 30 minutes. We've had 2 fish this season that have taken us over 30 minutes. I think one fish was 55 minutes. It's rarely, yeah. So let me just give you guys sort of a little demonstration here. So also what's important to note is rod and reel here, in our opinion, has to match the cockpit. So this is a Oliva goodie. This rod is 20 years old, and they're Ian Miller's. They're a little forgiving, a little bit more forgiving than the new rods that we built for the Spencer. The Spencer rods are a lot faster. They're a lot less forgiving, and I believe they're 4 inches longer on the Spencer. And what's important is for you to clear the corners. It's important for you to try to clear the corners as much as you can, because obviously, you know, when the captain's maneuvering, you want to have that line, try to clear the corners as much as you can. And this is why some of this stuff, like this particular chair, is offset, so you can kind of you can move it around so you can clear the corners. Usually, I'll come over here. A lot of the guys like to get into the chair, and then for the crew to help you set up, especially charter fishing. But what I find that works for me is I generally take my time when I transfer the rod into the chair. And I think that's one of the mistakes that angler makes is at the fresh, you know, at the fresh bite, you get excited, you see the fish, and a lot of times you get too anxious. Just settle down, make sure the fish, you pick a great opportunity, see what the fish is doing. I usually will wait until the fish is taking steady. When the fish is kind of freaking out, it's jumping ahead, or it doesn't know it's hooked yet, just wait. You can wait the 20, 30 seconds. That 20 or 30 seconds is going to seem like an eternity, but just wait till the fish starts to steady, take, and then you want to pull up, get the pressure off, grab, and start coming over. And what I usually do is I do not put the rod in the gimbal. I will step over, and then get on the chair, and start buckling in. And hopefully at this point the fish is still taking steady. So just calmly get comfortable. And you get in. At this point, the rod is going to be up because the fish is out. What's important for you to understand at that point is, personally for me, the faster the fish takes, the more I back off on the drag. Because we have 2 giant propellers and over 3,000 horsepower that can leverage ultimately how fast you're chasing the fish and how much line you're losing. So this thing holds, these 130s along with the proper backing, holds so much line. When that blue marlin, I'm talking about blues, blacks are completely different. When that blue marlin is smoking, the boat is still going ahead at 8.5 knots. Just keep in mind, if you're going to lose a fish at that point, you're going to lose it because of the pressure and the speed of the fish. So generally, try not to come up. And during the fight, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, that's when you start coming up. The slower the fish pulls, not the strength, the slower it pulls, the more you can come up on the drag. So that's really the trick, and I see a lot of anglers, they just panic because the fish is running away from you. When the fish is running away from you, it's a good thing because it's spending all of its energy, and that's what you want the fish to do. So let them go, use the rod, use the pressure point. So as the fight comes in, boat starts to get close to the fish. Now your angle, the line of the fish is becoming less and less, and it's becoming more of a 90 degree. It's not exactly 90, but that's when you feel the strength of the fish and how it pulls back. Kevin, can you go ahead and just grab the tip there and we can show everybody? If you notice that the way that I have the chair set up, which is completely different, again, it's my particular style. Any amount of pressure, okay, It's very comfortable. And you'll notice that in a lot of the videos, an angler is always grabbing onto the chair because it feels like, even when the gimbal is not attached to you, it's attached to the chair, it feels like there's a sensation you're going to get launched out of the chair. And the reason why, in my opinion, is that your foot is not, your legs are not at the proper angle. Go ahead and pull down. See, this is about, right now, what I feel like in my legs. See, Kevin is really pushing down on it right now. This is about 50, 55 pounds of drag right now. And I can do this for 10 hours. There's absolutely no problems whatsoever. Everything is lifted right, coming from the back of your legs or your ass here, and not from the back. You want to be able to pull without using your back, because your back muscle is the one that's going to give away first. And the reason why I like it down here is there's no reason for this part of the rod for me at all. Now, people use it differently, but you will never see me do this. I would never touch this area is really completely unmolested. We never touch this area of the rod. So you watch this, and what I do when the fish is up and down is I just move my leg, and I come up, go down, come up. I'll put this in free spool just so I will go down, wind down, up, one down, up, one down, up. And I think people get a little too greedy sometimes. They try to go down way too much and try to get 3 winds and then pull all the way up and then 3 winds all the way down. You don't want to do that. You just want to load up the rod. The trick here is the rod has to be loaded. As the rod is loaded, you're pulling on that fish. And that fish will tire out a lot faster than if you try to come up too much, down too fast, come up too much. Just get comfortable. Down one time. One time. Now this is when I'm lifted. A lot of times when the fish is sort of at a medium angle, you're going to see, instead of me going up and down like this, you're going to see me start squatting like this. This is how I gain line when the boat is still moving. If the boat is still moving and there's angle in the line, the captain is usually going to position. We're going to either try to chase the fish or lead the fish. Regardless, you have a lot of opportunity to gain line. This is when the fish is at an intermediate angle. But when the fish starts to come up and down, that's when you stand up, and that's when you get that half crank or so. And also, I rarely go in low gear. I think low gear is a bit of a handicap. As long as you're in high gear and you're able to gain, there's no reason to go into low. Now, big tuna fishing, that's completely different, and I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about marlins. Marlins is a lot more predictable, unless you have a situation where they're switching back. If you have a switchback type of situation, then the cheers are moving, everything's moving around, and being in high gear gives you a little bit more opportunity. Anyways, that's sort of the quick rundown. Anything I'm missing, Kevin?
One thing that's important to me is the safety. You see me use the safety line on the gunnel. I take it off as he's transferred. I add the one to the chair once he gets in the chair. You always attach that to the donut where we attach our gap seal on the base of the chair there. Keep in mind you don't want lines stretching across. Safety and cleanliness.
So one other thing that's about safety is, whether it's Kevin or OB, when they grab that leader, what you want to do as an angler, at that time I'm usually up near sunset if it's a bigger fish. So when they grab the leader, I usually will go down to slightly right at or below strike, depending on how active the fish is. You want to keep some drag on, because it allows the leaderman to grab that leader a lot firmer. If you had no drag, obviously then it starts coming off the spool. It's harder for the leaderman. But at the same time, you don't want to be in sunset mode, just in case the leaderman lets go. You don't want to get launched out of the chair when that fish starts to come tight. And I usually will leave about 1 or 2 inches of the swivel right at the tip. Okay, I don't want it jammed up against the tip, because you don't want a situation where it jams in. And you don't want too much free swing, because you don't want to wrap it around the tip. If you have a free swimming swivel that wraps around the tip and it gets tangled and the leaderman lets go, that's going to be a pretty fun water skiing event for me. So just the little things like that, just try to stay focused, try to breathe, and ultimately this chair, if set up correctly, is going to allow you to to have much better leverage. And I will tell you that being in the chair for up to 55 minutes or so, you really don't get fatigued.
You should be comfortable.
You should be very comfortable, and all, you know, whether you're chartering or you're owner of your own boat or you fish with your friends, chair setup, so how the hockey sticks go, where the gimbals are placed, the angles and the notches, all of this is for me. And every one of the chairs are set up exactly the right way. So whether I'm on this boat or the Spencer or the L&H, when I get into the chair, it's going to feel like home, because it's going to feel like exactly the right measurement. And you just don't want a situation where if the fish is pulling, you feel like you got to hang on to the chair. It should be pretty good leverage. You have these great big footrests. When the rod goes down, you should get very comfortable. Anything else?
Covers it.
All right, man. Well, anyways, coming to you from Lizard Island. Good seeing you.